Welcome to latest news blaster. Miranda Lambert has once again found herself at the center of intense public speculation after the release of her latest song, a track that fans and critics alike are convinced carries subtle but unmistakable references to her ex-husband Blake Shelton, reigniting years-old drama that many believed was long buried. And what's most fascinating is how Lambert, who has often poured her rawest emotions into her music, seems to have strategically crafted lyrics that simultaneously sound like a classic country heartbreak anthem, while also functioning as a coded message filled with hidden emotions that fans are now dissecting line by line, with many arguing that the song is her boldest yet most vulnerable admission that her marriage to Shelton still casts a long emotional shadow over her life even nearly a decade after their divorce, which itself was one of the most shocking celebrity breakups in modern country music history, given how their relationship had been built up as the genre's ultimate power couple fairy tale. And while Lambert has publicly moved on, remarrying New York police officer Brendan M.C. Laughlin in 2019, and frequently projecting an image of domestic stability, her artistry continues to betray layers of lingering pain, regret, longing, and even defiance, all of which seem aimed directly or indirectly at Blake Shelton, who famously transitioned into a high-profile romance and eventual marriage with pop icon Gwen Stefani, creating one of Hollywood's most talked-about blended families and fueling a never-ending cycle of comparison between the women, their careers, and their cultural legacies. In this latest lyrical outing, Lambert deploys metaphors that many listeners argue are impossible to interpret without thinking of Shelton. Phrases about whiskey-soaked promises that faded with the morning light, the ring left cold in a box I never thought I'd close, and the laughter that turned into silence louder than any storm, all read like poetic recollections of her failed union, with fans immediately flooding social media to share theories that these lyrics expose feelings Lambert has rarely acknowledged publicly, perhaps even feelings of unresolved love and anger, which makes the song feel less like a commercial single and more like a diary entry disguised as art. Industry insiders are pointing out how clever Lambert has always been with her music, how she has consistently turned personal turmoil into career-defining creative output. Remember her 2016 album The Weight of These Wings, widely regarded as her divorce album, where nearly every track felt like a cathartic release of the heartbreak she endured after her split from Shelton. And now, nearly a decade later, it seems Lambert is once again leaning into that well of inspiration, possibly because she knows fans crave the rawness and relatability of such confessions, but also because it keeps her name intertwined with Shelton's, ensuring continued relevance in a world where celebrity relationships often overshadow the artistry itself. And what makes this moment especially intriguing is the timing. Blake Shelton has recently stepped back from The Voice, choosing to focus more on family and his personal life with Gwen Stefani, while Lambert, conversely, is doubling down on her artistry, her touring, and her brand expansion, making the contrast between their post-divorce lives more pronounced than ever, and perhaps fueling Lambert's instinct to reclaim the narrative by reminding the public that she, too, has a story, one that isn't just about being left behind, but about being haunted by what could have been. Social media users are split, with some praising Lambert's bravery in expressing emotions she might still hold for Shelton, while others accuse her of dwelling too much on the past and using her ex's name indirectly or otherwise to generate buzz and sales. But what cannot be denied is the fact that the song has become a trending topic across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, with thousands of fan-made videos analyzing each lyric, comparing them to past interviews Lambert has given about her divorce, and even speculating whether Blake Shelton himself has heard the track and what Gwen Stefani might think about it, given the public's obsession with the ongoing love triangle narrative that seems to follow these three stars wherever they go. Media outlets have seized on the controversy, running headlines that highlight phrases like hidden confessions, cryptic call-outs, and emotional bombshells, while country music blogs are praising Lambert for once again proving why she is one of the genre's most authentic storytellers, unafraid to use her own scars as instruments of songcraft. And all of this adds to her reputation as both a vulnerable songwriter and a shrewd operator in the business of celebrity storytelling. Even music critics, who normally focus on lyrical technique rather than gossip, are pointing out that the wordplay in this song feels far too personal to be coincidental. especially lines about a cowboy who traded spurs for neon lights, which many interpret as a jab at Shelton's embrace of Hollywood glamour during his years on The Voice and his crossover into the pop mainstream through his relationship with Stefani, contrasting Lambert's more traditional country roots and lifestyle. And while it remains possible that the lyrics are intentionally ambiguous, written to resonate with anyone experiencing heartbreak, the undeniable parallels to her own life have made it almost impossible for fans not to see Shelton's ghost lingering in every stanza, and this is precisely why the song is gaining traction, far beyond the country music audience, attracting pop culture enthusiasts, gossip columnists, and even mainstream news outlets, all fascinated by the possibility that Lambert, knowingly or unknowingly, has reopened a wound of her past marriage in public view. Moreover, the commercial strategy cannot be ignored, as Lambert has always understood the power of narrative in selling music, and by dropping a song that invites speculation about Shelton, she has essentially guaranteed headlines, interviews, and trending hashtags, all of which translate into streams, downloads, and ticket sales, making this not just an emotional release, but also a savvy career move, one that plays into the enduring tabloid fascination with her failed marriage. Meanwhile, Shelton has largely stayed silent, continuing to appear publicly with Stefani, posting light-hearted family moments online, and seemingly avoiding any acknowledgement of Lambert's latest song, though sources close to him have allegedly told entertainment outlets that he doesn't care what Miranda sings about anymore. A claim that only fuels the narrative further, because fans believe silence in itself is a response, and that his refusal to comment may be more telling than any official statement, especially given how carefully he manages his image as the laid-back, good-natured country boy. As for Gwen Stefani, whispers in the entertainment press suggest she is unbothered by Lambert's music, but fans speculate otherwise, pointing out how awkward it must feel to hear constant comparisons and to see your husband's ex dominating headlines with lyrics that dredge up old wounds. And this triangle continues to be one of the most compelling stories in celebrity culture, rivaling even the drama of Hollywood divorces and reality TV feuds, because it combines star power, heartbreak, music, and rivalry into one endlessly evolving saga. Ultimately, whether Miranda Lambert intended her song to be a direct message to Blake Shelton, or whether it is simply another example of her using past experiences as fodder for universal themes of love and loss, the fact remains that it has reignited public interest in their relationship, ensured her continued relevance in the competitive music landscape, and sparked a fresh cycle of gossip that will likely keep both her and Shelton in the headlines for weeks to come, proving once again that in the world of celebrity culture, the line between art and personal confession is razor thin, and sometimes the best way to keep your story alive is to sing it out loud, leaving just enough clues for fans to fill in the blanks. And with this latest release, Lambert has done exactly that. Opened old doors, exposed hidden feelings, and reminded the world that behind every country ballad lies a real human story of love, loss, and the complicated emotions that never truly fade, no matter how many years or marriages may pass. Miranda Lambert's newest release has shaken the country music world and the broader entertainment industry alike, as the fiery Texas-born superstar, known for her raw honesty and storytelling, dropped a song that critics, fans, and tabloids are convinced contains unmistakable references to her ex-husband Blake Shelton, igniting waves of speculation that she may still be carrying unresolved emotions nearly a decade after their high-profile divorce, which rocked Nashville in 2015 and has since remained a defining chapter in both their lives. What's grabbing everyone's attention now are the lyrics themselves, which feel less like abstract poetry and more like deeply personal confessions carefully cloaked in metaphor. Lines like "A cowboy left me for brighter lights, but the moon don't shine in neon skies, and I kept the vows in a box, but you burned yours down with whiskey lies," which listeners immediately connected to Shelton's transition from traditional country roots into the Hollywood spotlight during his run on The Voice, and his eventual romance and marriage with pop icon Gwen Stefani, a relationship that many still perceive as the ultimate contrast to his time with Lambert. And while Miranda has built her career on pouring real emotion into her songs, fans argue this track takes things to a new level, almost as if she's directly addressing Blake after years of silence, reigniting memories of their messy split, which at the time was accompanied by rumors of infidelity, creative clashes, lifestyle differences, and the sheer pressure of being the it couple of country music. Back in 2011, when they married in a glamorous Texas ceremony, Lambert and Shelton were hailed as Nashville's power couple, with both careers surging, her reputation as a rising star with grit and authenticity, balancing his charm as one of country's most marketable personalities, and together they seemed invincible, gracing red carpets hand in hand, performing duets that audiences adored, and giving interviews filled with playful banter. But as years passed, cracks began to show. Shelton's time in Los Angeles filming The Voice pulled him further from the Nashville life Lambert cherished, while Lambert focused on her artistry, touring, and remaining deeply connected to her country roots. And by the time they announced their divorce in 2015, fans were shocked yet oddly unsurprised, as whispers of incompatibility and betrayal had long swirled behind the scenes. Fast forward nearly 10 years, and both stars have moved forward in seemingly opposite directions. Shelton diving into a very public love story with Gwen Stefani, which culminated in a lavish Oklahoma wedding and blended family life often showcased on social media, while Lambert surprised fans with her secret 2019 marriage to NYPD officer Brendan M.C. Loughlin, who himself became a tabloid figure due to the suddenness of their union. But despite these new chapters, the ghost of their failed marriage has lingered, resurfacing again. Now with Lambert's latest lyrical bombshell, and fans can't help but wonder whether Miranda has ever truly closed that chapter. Given how vividly her new words evoke memories of Blake, the song's release has sparked a frenzy online, with hashtags like #MirandaExposesBlake, #HiddenLyrics, and #CountryDrama trending within hours. TikTok creators posting line-by-line breakdowns, Twitter users debating whether Miranda is still hung up on her ex or simply drawing from past pain for creative fuel, and Instagram fan accounts making collages of old Blake and Miranda photos alongside her new lyrics, framing them as evidence of unresolved longing, regret, or perhaps revenge. Yet not everyone agrees. Some argue that Miranda has long since moved on and that critics are overanalyzing, insisting the song's universal heartbreak themes could apply to anyone. But the problem with that defense is that Lambert's own history looms too large, her artistry too transparent, and her choice of words far too pointed for listeners to ignore the parallels. Even mainstream media outlets that usually avoid gossip-heavy speculation have weighed in, with Rolling Stone describing the track as hauntingly autobiographical, and Billboard calling it a rare moment where an artist opens old wounds not for pity, but for poetic resonance, which illustrates how deeply the music press itself is reading into the subtext. Meanwhile, whispers within the Nashville industry suggest that Lambert is fully aware of the buzz her lyrics would generate, with insiders claiming she even teased in private conversations that this song would be the one fans talk about for years, reinforcing her savvy understanding of how personal storytelling fuels longevity in an industry often dominated by fleeting trends. And this theory gains weight when one considers the timing. Blake Shelton has recently stepped down from The Voice after 23 seasons, emphasizing his desire to focus on family life, while Lambert is aggressively expanding her touring schedule, residencies and business ventures, perhaps signaling her desire to remind the world of her resilience, relevance and staying power. And what better way to do that than by dropping a song that stirs controversy, evokes sympathy, and commands headlines? The comparisons to Gwen Stefani are inevitable and relentless, with fans pointing out how Gwen herself has written love songs allegedly inspired by Blake, including tracks that celebrate their unlikely romance, and how Miranda's new release feels like a darker counterpoint to that, almost as if the two women are still communicating indirectly through music, one expressing joy and healing, the other revealing scars and shadows, a narrative that tabloids are eager to exploit as a dueling divas storyline, even if neither woman acknowledges the other directly. And what of Shelton himself? While he has remained conspicuously silent on the matter, his silence itself is being analyzed, with some arguing that his refusal to comment is a sign of indifference, while others suggest it is strategic avoidance, designed to keep the fire from spreading further. Yet fans insist that he must have heard the track, given how inescapable it has become within the industry, and they speculate about his private reaction, whether it stings, whether it annoys him, or whether, deep down, he recognizes the truth in Miranda's words. behind the gossip lies a fascinating cultural reality. Heartbreak songs, especially those tied to real-life celebrity relationships, are some of the most commercially successful in history, from Taylor Swift's entire discography to Adele's soul-bearing ballads. And Lambert herself has always thrived in that arena, with albums like The Weight of These Wings and Wildcard drawing heavily from her personal experiences. And now, once again, she proves that the public's appetite for confessional storytelling has not waned, especially when the heartbreak in question involves two household names whose love story once captivated millions. And so the question becomes, is this song a final catharsis, a way of closing the book on Blake Shelton once and for all? Or is it an intentional reopening of wounds designed to keep the past alive for artistic and commercial gain? Fans are divided, but the sheer power of the narrative ensures that Miranda Lambert is dominating headlines once more, her name intertwined with Blake's in ways that perhaps neither of them can ever fully escape. And as long as she continues to turn her private pain into public art, the speculation will never stop, ensuring that their story, once of love, now of heartbreak, remains one of country music's most compelling sagas, one that refuses to fade no matter how many years or marriages pass. And this latest lyrical confession only proves that some scars may heal, but they never vanish completely, echoing forever in the songs we sing and the memories we cannot erase.
That's today's exclusive report. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to keep receiving powerful updates and emotional stories that matter. Stay with us for the truth, the legacy, and the news that everyone will be talking about tomorrow.